Good day, everybody, and welcome back to Crosstalk. And in fact, welcome to Crosstalk. Monique, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good.
You say you're smiling. Is that because you're in a tropical paradise? You know, what is that smile about today?
Definitely tropical. I would definitely say it's the food, though. I've had some good food today.
Let's start on today then. What did you have to eat today?
Today I had fried fish with sweet potato pie, coleslaw, salad. I had some turkey neck soup. I didn't even really eat meat like that, but my aunt said I'm about to do the soup, and I said, all right, okay. So I made the exception. So that's what I've eaten today so far, and like 2 pluses. So I've got hella energy.
So are you more so on the side of devour food, or do you also cook it up in the kitchen as well?
Oh, I'm a bad man cook.
Oh, okay.
I'm a bad man
most
cook.
people usually say that, but how true?
I've been told.
Oh,
like
okay.
My gran and my mother.
Oh, from gran. If grans give you that,
yeah, they've given me that you're the best cook in the house, and I was like,
oh, in the house.
In the house. So
you should have brought some food to this interview.
I mean, that's a charge.
Oh.
Yeah, in these hands.
Fair play. We can talk business after this.
We can.
Yeah, but overall, what's your, I was gonna say staycation, but workcation been like so far?
Oh, okay. It's been a bliss because usually my work setting is grayscale. I don't know if you've been London before, but our setting is grey.
I used to take the mega bus down to London and 7 hours in the back seat to just get rain. Yeah.
And we don't really have much colour.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might get a blue sky, but this time of year, our nights are getting quicker. Our days aren't looking too bright. So I think just having a space that reminds you what's important, in a sense of, I love being around the sea, I love being around nature, hearing the crickets, because I listen to meditation music. I'm big on meditation, so not having to use my meditation music, just hearing that surrounding, it's just very tranquil. So working has been like, it's been easier to say it's just work. We're not going to get attached to this stress here. We're going to just breathe and let it flow, let it go. So it's been good.
That's good to hear. Like I said, you can see it on your face, you know?
Yeah.
Like the energy is there, the smile is there.
It is.
Now, to get us into the serious side of things, is a word that I have seen repeated quite often on your social. In fact, that's how we met, you know?
Yeah.
The money talk side of things. Yeah. And that word was intentional, you know? And I realized that from, I guess, I wouldn't say to the inception, but from very early on in terms of your posts, it was always a case of intentional in terms of actions, intentional in terms of words, in terms of where you are. What are you currently trying to be intentional about?
My biggest thing is, number one is purpose. So just to kind of paint a picture, I've always loved talking to people. I've always been passionate about engaging with people, but it needed to be full of purpose. I started off on radio and I loved it, but I was like, I don't feel like I'm doing what I should be doing. Like, there's a feeling that just doesn't feel aligned. So I stepped out of that and went more into coaching with great force, because I didn't accept myself as a life coach. For about 2 years I was coaching people and like, no, I'm just helping. But the intentional side of me is aligning with my purpose in my passion of speaking and helping others. And that's kind of put me into the playing field, as I said, of coaching, but just kind of, what's the word that I'm looking for? I'm big on alignment. I'm enthusiastic on well-being, whatever that looks like for the individual. Just helping people understand that through conversation. So that is my intention with my post. And being real. I feel like there's a lot of kind of glittered up people. I want to say glittered to keep it PG, but there's a lot of falseness on Instagram where people are only showing the ups. I'm quite happy to speak about my downs when they happen, if I'm ready. If not, I might talk about like a month up, but I'm quite open and connect with the people that follow me based on, look, you're not the only one who's going through a hard time. Here's what I'm doing. This is what you can do. Like, let's do this together. Like, my whole hashtag is growing together, because I couldn't have done anything I've done alone. So all the intent that I have is, how can I use my purpose of communicating with people and that passion to really help make a difference in people knowing their absolute best selves. So that's pretty much, in a nutshell, in a nice coconut shell.
keeping it very Caribbean there.
I mean, I'm pre in the coconut tree. I already said if I could climb this tree, I would be blending in, number one, because the palm leaves. No one would notice me. Take the coconuts and just go on my day. But let's not digress.
Fair enough. So we see where you are now at, I wouldn't necessarily say the end of the journey, but at the stage where you were actually calling yourself a life coach now. But interestingly enough, you mentioned that when you started out, you didn't actually, I guess, accept that title. What was that journey like whereby you were like, I'm helping people, but hey, I am not that person? What was that journey like in terms of accepting, okay, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing now?
Oh, it was the ghetto. That's the best way to summarize it. It was hella ghetto. But the acceptance part came because every time I helped someone, I had to help myself. Every time I'm giving advice and speaking out and talking and all these things, like sometimes I'm talking to people, I'm like, where did that come from? It was the ancestors, it was God, it wasn't me. But then I'm stopping and I'm like, am I listening to that for myself? Am I hearing that voice when it comes to me? So there's times that I'm like, am I practicing what I preach? That I actually have to stop and say, let me start putting my things into practice. Let me start actually doing what I'm telling other people to do and see how that works for me. And the big part of the acceptance side of things was, how can I tell people to own what they are doing confidently and I'm not doing the same thing? I have evidence that I've helped people's lives. I've got messages where people have said to me, look, like, thank you so much. People that I've worked with who didn't believe in love in a certain way, who are now turned around and got engaged. Like, I'm like, that for me is so rewarding than anything else. But why am I not getting that same win for myself? And it was just taking a leap. Like, don't get me wrong, I still have times where I am so scared, but my Instagram is a place that I allow myself to be. You could tell already I've gone into like vulnerability mode, but that's the place that I allow myself to be vulnerable, where it's like, let me practice not caring what people have to say and just work with the people that align with me and keep it that simple. So it's been a rough journey because of my resistance. What's made it easier is just learning to allow whatever is meant for me to be, not to be cliche, surrendering to the process a little bit. Yes, I do my planning, but just if I'm in the space of doing this thing, why am I resisting calling myself this thing if I'm doing everything else around it? What's wrong with the title? So that's been the journey. I've had a lot of down times in the sense of needing to take a minute for myself, and it was learning to be okay with that, because I would put a weird pressure, like, I'm meant to be helping people, I can't spend so much time in my head. And I'm like, well, actually, if I'm not good, how are you going to be good when you come to me? So there's a lot of battling. There's a lot of trust that comes from actually talking to people. Relying on my feminine energy has been a big thing, to be able to receive love, because I empty out so much that very often my cup needs to be filled back. So for a long time I weren't in a space where I was allowing myself to receive that, so I was just getting burnt out. And what has really been the pivotal moment for me is just, again, being vulnerable, allowing people in, and surrendering. A lot of just letting go has done it. So
I have a million questions based on what you were now saying.
Yeah.
No, because it's so interesting, because it's like, obviously you see one side of it in terms of what you put out on socials, etc., and you understand that it is a means of, as you mentioned, helping yourself, because you actually see your journey coming through it, but it's also there to help others.
Yeah.
But then, as you mentioned, there are stages where you find that you actually have to help yourself first, you know? How difficult is that balance? Because basically this is your profession, this is your career, and there's always going to be somebody reaching out to you, somebody interested in that help. How do you balance when it's like, okay, like, I genuinely want to help you, but I kind of need to help myself first? Like, how do you like work with that balance?
It's a tough one to grasp. So at the moment I've been on a little break, but I'm trusting that this is God's timing break. I'm someone who leans on my faith quite a lot, and there was a point where I had loads of clients back to back, and now it's kind of gone down. But I'm in such a heavy transitional period of my life that I've just looked at it. I've looked at that as a pattern and seen God's gonna bring people to me who need my help when I'm up. But right now He knows this is time that I need to isolate, I need to build. And almost go through what I call the butterfly effect. Like, I have a thing for butterflies, not because they look nice, but that's helped me channel some of the hardship. Like, there was times that I'm like, I feel like I'm suffocating. I'm like, well, in a cocoon, you're going to suffocate, babe. And you're going to come out and you're going to look amazing. And kind of just paying attention to the patterns of life, it has just really helped me say, okay, I'm just going to trust as part of that surrendering again. Not that I'm not going to do my marketing and say, guys, I've got coaching slots, but I don't allow myself to get down if I don't have clients, because I'm like, what does God want me to pay attention to instead? Where I do so much more than coaching as well. Like, coaching is the thing that I drive and I love, but, you know, I work full time. I support people in other ways, like musically, I was supporting people off the back of radio. So I'm like, I need enough mental space to move around all my different talents and just to pour into Monique. So I just trust that. And the balance has come with me learning to let go, to answer your question. Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. But yeah, I'm happy that you mentioned that there's more to it as well, because once again, like I said, like, you see these social platforms, but you never really understand all that's involved in a person.
Yeah.
So take me behind the other layers of Monique then, because radio was from every sense, and you know, like, take me through those layers of you.
So, I mean, where to start? Okay, so I've always had a passionate for radio, and that actually came from the film The Fifth Element. I don't know if you ever watched it, but it's a very old film. I don't know if I'm showing my age, but I mean, show my age. Well, I look good regardless. I can show my age. I look good, okay? But The Fifth Element, Chris Tucker was in it, and he was this like extra character, wore leopard print, red lipstick. Like, he was a character, but he was a radio host. But he just made the film for me. And I was like, if I'm going to go into this industry, I need to, like, enter every room like Chris. Like, Ruby is, yes. And then over time, I was just kind of like, okay, I like being in these spaces, but it's not me. I'm a bit of a hybrid. I'm like a glam hippie. So where does a glam hippie sit? And there was a lot of exploration when it came to the things that I do, because in radio, I started, like, helping manage my sister at the time, who done music. So I weren't necessarily her facing manager, but I was going out, I was networking for her, I was trying to get her booked in stuff, I was bursting into people's studio sessions like, hi, I'm Moniie Talks, like, have you heard of Love Roll? Like, do you know who she is? I was doing things like that. So I was just spreading my wings, and getting back was just simplifying it. What doesn't feel good anymore? What doesn't feel right? And just picking it off. And that doesn't mean that I have one thing now. It just means I have space to pick up something new. So just getting to this space right now took a lot of alone time. It didn't take the extra going to events, being around loads of people. It took me spending time by myself, doing things that I like by myself, taking myself on dates. I have dated myself. And when I said this to people, they was like, aren't you lonely? I'm like, well, listen, ladies, where there's a will, there's a way. But in terms of knowing what you like as a person, you can't really know yourself until you understand all of those things. So I'm like, that was a big part of me, identifying, should I say, who I am in this phase of Moniie Talks. So much so that I've been like, do I stay with Moniie Talks? Or should I change the name? Because the transition's been so heavy. It's so far from what Moniie Talks birthed. So there's a lot of movement, but a lot of alone time to get me through the places of radio host to life coach. In between that, dabbling into music. I do all my social media. I did a podcast at a point. I did all my editing. When I was YouTubing, I did all my editing then. So it's nothing new to this generation. We are the generation who are multifaceted when it comes to what we can do. And I think that's why we are seeing such success, because we can literally be a one-man band and make everything happen. But then we're also seeing heavy burnout, a lot of mental health going on, because there's that trust element of who can I rely on to do these things. So spending time alone helps you kind of cut out the noise and tune in with yourself, so you're able to discern those things. So you don't always have to be a one-man band, but you know when you need to. So I hope that's all made sense. I feel like I threw much words at you.
It does. Yeah. Because in a way, like, I kind of understand, especially when you talk about the one-man band side of things and what's not, like, thankful for my friend Nick, that join the journey.
Nick's
and
got the vocals as well. Nick has got the vocals. Shout out to you, Nick, for the vocals, yes.
But yes, I definitely understand, like, wanting to do it all, and it's like, you putting your heart, soul, and resources behind every single little project, so it's like I said, the same editing aspect, trying to understand, okay, I want to do this, but I must learn to do something else to be able to do that. And, that kind of stuff, So, trust me.
That's it, investing in yourself. Because I'm like, if you want to... I heard so many people like, I want to make money, I want to do this. I'm like, how much have you invested in yourself? Mm-hmm. Even if it's like, when I hear women talk about, I want a husband, I'm like, are you investing in yourself to look like the wife for the man you're trying to attract? Or are you just there in that same energy? Because it's not going to happen. You need to invest in yourself for whatever it is that your big picture is. You have to put the money in, you have to put the time in, you have to put the work in. Sometimes that means isolating too, So, yeah, man. Right, so run it up.
Take me to the point of life coaching whereby this is, let's say this is our first call that we're having. What does that look like for you? What are you searching for? What is the conversation like with that person initially?
In that first initial call, I searched for a relationship, comfortability, because just because I'm good at what I do, that doesn't mean I'm good for you. You might not need me, I'm not someone that's like, I'm the only life coach in the world. I'm like, you know what, I know someone else who's amazing. I think you guys will click a little bit more. I'm not worried about the bag, I'm worried about how effective am I going to be in your life. So I look for how willing are you to open your heart to me, how comfortable, and obviously it doesn't happen straight away, but I tend to have a gift when it comes to talking to people. I've met people in parties and they're telling me things and telling me like, oh, my partner doesn't even know that. And I'm like, well, it's a safe space. What you need to understand is, why can't you tell your partner that? And explore that with your partner. Things like that. So I always look for how well do we gel, because I know how well and easy I get on with people and how easy I can have those conversations. But I'm not going to just take your money. It's not about that. It's about, can I help you? That, and also the clarity and understanding that I'm not going to be your therapist, because that's slightly different. A coach is about empowering you for what you already know, helping you dig out the parts of yourself that you've buried, helping you bring that to the surface, and helping you navigate your perspective so you don't, so you don't suppress yourself, but so you can continue to grow and enhance. So making it absolutely clear, like, you're taking the lead here, I'm taking your lead. Obviously I have my work frames and things that I do, but when you start the relationship like that as well, it instantly puts a tone of confidence in the work that you do with people that you end up coaching, because they come in that, actually, I am in charge of this. What do I want from this? They learn to speak about what they want. I think people have lost the nature for talking about their needs. They want to fit into society so much that they've quieted, what do I need? And it's a hard question. This last 4 months has been a lot of me figuring out what my needs are. And it's the same thing when people come to me coaching, like, let's identify that. Let's identify what you truly need. Make sure you're confident in that, understand that. You already have the skills, I'm just helping you figure that out. And am I the right person to do that? So that's what that first initial call looks like. I understand things like your spiritual beliefs, your religious beliefs, because I don't limit it to religion. If I'm coaching someone who doesn't believe in the same God that I do, that doesn't mean I'm not going to coach you. That just means how I approach our conversation might look different. I'm going to respect that boundary for you, but talk to you in a language that you understand. But if you say you're spiritual, some of the advice that I might give you when you say, okay, this is how I'm feeling heavy, I might tell you, if you're living over here, I'm going to tell you need to get in that seat. You need to spend time and you need to let certain energy drop off of you. You need to pray on it. I'm going to give away all my gems now, okay? That's a fee, okay? But so it really does alter. And that's more come from my grandma's spiritual side, because she's a bishop, but she's a spiritualist. And she's taught me a lot of understanding the balance between knowing God but knowing the spirit, understanding how to navigate the world in trusting your energy. So I've taught that, passed that knowledge on to people and helped where I can. So yeah, that's what the first call will look like. A lot of deep diving.
All right. right? And then finally, as we begin to come towards the sunset of this conversation,
Yes.
you know, it's been an interesting ride for you, an interesting journey. What might you say then is one lesson that you've learned on this journey that is like, you know what, hey, this is one to keep in my back pocket to pull out at some stage, that one lesson?
The biggest in my face, like boundaries. Boundaries in every sense of the word. I think not to blow my own trumpet, thank you birds, because they're backing me up, thank you. Not to blow my trumpet, but I have a very big heart. And it's got me in trouble sometimes, whether that is with friends, whether that's romantically, whether that's with family. I have sometimes felt the need to overgive and not look after myself, or just not be able to say not right now, because I'm like, it's my purpose to help people. And I'm like, to an extent. You know, a doctor has days off as well. You know, I can't give completely. So learning boundaries has helped me.
No, but you so hard. Oh God,
did it get you?
Ants, boy. Oh jeez.
Oh no. Oh, look at your shit. Oh yeah.
I say if you want, but if you two, if you three, boy. Oh goodness.
Do you know what? I felt a little something, but they haven't bit me though. Are you okay?
I'm good.
Is this on camera? We're okay.
Which part of the conversation we was at?
What was I talking about? Boundaries.
These ants, you learn some boundaries.
The ants need boundaries. I mean, they got good taste. They like Birkenstocks more than my shoe.
Fair play.
That's for sure. I didn't even see them.
I feel them though.
Did you? No, they didn't bite me. They didn't bite me. I'm sorry.
Mercy, ain't no any at home, but goodness, man.
Well, who knew? Well, you're okay. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Are you good?
Yes, I'm good enough.
The boundaries, ants need boundaries. That's where we was. Oh God. Yeah. Basically, the lesson is understanding my boundaries, learning to communicate my needs as well, hand in hand. Like sometimes, like my sister, for example, she's my biggest support system. She sees the sides of me that it's kind of like if someone's going to train my husband, it's her. Obviously, he's got not trained him like that. Oh my God. But I mean, like to understand certain. If he's ever at a point like, who do I need to go to to understand me as a person the most? That's a better way to put it. It's her, because she really understands me when I'm being defensive because I'm scared. She understands the fair side, but I've had to learn to say to her, I'm being defensive because I'm scared, not because I don't want to hear what you have to tell me. And being comfortable enough to be like, I just need a hug. I don't want advice right now. I need advice. I don't want a hug right now. Just understanding how to communicate that, and sometimes say no. Like, guys, I can't listen to you right now. I have my own head to clear out and the own voices to just kind of balance out because of what's going on in my life. That's been the biggest for me. I would say that is in the back pocket, in the front pocket. I'm telling you, them waves agree with me too. Boundaries, that's it. So that's been it, and yeah.
Guys, I told you, right? This is the first time we meet in life, right?
In real life.
And it was so interesting, right? Because when you messaged me, I was like, I actually put you on my list, so like, nah, this is fate. You're on my list for a reason. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, Monique.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure chatting to you.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best on that journey, whether or not it's solo or whatever else, on the life coaching journey, whether or not it is that for the next 40 years or that for the next 5, whatever it is.
Thank you.
Wishing you the best.
Thank you for having me. I'm hopeful that my coaching will come to Barbados. I want to help people understand how great we could be, just excel. So let's see what this conversation visits in the next couple of years.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap, guys. That's a wrap.
Thank you.
Yes, sir?
Yes, that was wonderful.
I got
We're going to have to get a picture.
Big man, right? Nah, when he's... Huh? Yeah, but I ain't like, right? They say, if you want bite,